And we are live. What is going on, everybody? Happy Wednesday. What is today? It is the 19th of March, at least here in this. I think it's probably 19th of March most places where people are watching, but I could be wrong. It might be after midnight. Who's here today? Let's see. We got Hobo's here, Beats is here, PF, Aaron, how you doing? Maurice, Queasy Diver, I think I said RS. Let's see, John Undermaker's here, Lisa's here. Angel 12, how's it going? PC, how's everyone doing? Work meeting, so I have muted. Oh no! What's going on? Scope? It looks like Scope, sorry. I have you all on a big TV, but you're still very small, and don't be fooled by these glasses. They help me see, but it's still difficult. Zadi, what's going on? Kittrell in the house. William Noel, I hope everybody is doing awesome. It's been a little while, I feel, since we've done just an unboxing and checkout printer stream. Most everything we've done lately for the past at least handful of months has been a project, a build. So the original plan was to play around with Box Turtle today, but I just decided, I was like, I need a little break from building for just a single week. And Sovol originally, I've had this printer here, the Sovol Zero, for probably 30 days now, and they initially told me I couldn't show it until I think it was end of the month, like another 8 or 9 days. And then I got an email maybe 48 hours ago or so saying like, hey, you can show it now. So I was like, oh cool, well we'll just take a look at this. This Saturday's video will be on the 2.4. I can't remember what the last thing we did with the Box Turtle on stream was, but I basically got it working, minus I was having a few issues that were partially stemming from Clicky and the nozzle probe. There's just a lot going on in that printer. So Saturday's video is I fully converted it. The Clicky is gone, the Z offset's gone. It's now running the E3D PZ probe, which was really simple to set up. The one issue I ran into was a bad crimp on my part. And I will say this, that I feel like I've been pretty lucky with not running into that issue too often. And I did something I probably shouldn't have done, which is when I had an issue, I started looking at all sorts of complicated things when I should have just started with checking continuity. But yeah, that's all the issue was. So aside from that, that's working well. And I need to now work on the macros to make sure they're working correctly. And then the other issue I have is my Nighthawk cable. It is floppy. And so because it's floppy, a couple things are happening. One, occasionally it gets caught behind my Z-axis cable chain, and that's not good. And then the other thing that happens is every once in a while it falls down. And so normally if it falls down, that's fine. But if the two cables, as it bends down, make contact with each other, I'm using sensorless homing, and it creates enough additional force where it doesn't get a perfect zero, which is a problem when we're using macros that need to be really precise to hit cutting things. So I talked to Steve a little bit last, so Steve took off Saturday. I talked to Steve last maybe Thursday, and he showed me his 2.4 setup. He basically is running a very similar setup, but his Nighthawk cable is coming from the top, and so it never gets a chance to bend or kink with anything. And he also showed me how he got rid of his Z chain. So very likely I am going to, before I dial in Box Turtle, get my wiring under control, because to dial in Box Turtle yet still run into issues unrelated to that sounds like a frustrating experience. So that's probably what's going on. So piano wire. Yeah, so the piano wire would absolutely work for the sagging, but I still feel, based off of the length I currently have my Nighthawk, that the piano wire, when it's doing the quad gantry leveling, could still possibly get it to hook behind that cable chain. Because initially I was like, I was pretty set on doing the piano wire that you had mentioned, Tor. But I think that because of the cable chain, I need to do a little bit more stuff with my setup. So yes, let's see. I plan to now move my Z chain to under the extrusion. That eliminates the problem. Still floppy cable, no good. Huh, interesting. Yeah, underneath would also resolve, but I'm pretty set. Steve showed me, he sent me a little nice video of his 2.4 and linked me to the STLs I'd need. So I'm pretty set on what he's got going on. And I have enough slack. I think, I have to double check. It's been a while since I installed Nighthawk. I don't think I cut the cable. Nighthawk comes with like a really long cable. I'm pretty sure I just routed it underneath in the wire channels. So as long as I have the length for Nighthawk, I will probably just end up extending it and running it like Steve is doing, which is through the top up here, and then I think down the side. So we'll see. We'll see. Can you share that? Yes, I think I can. I don't believe those files are in Steve's GitHub repo yet, but they were in his Discord, so I imagine because of that I can probably share them, but I don't think I'll make a video on that process. So what I'll likely do is do it myself, and then as long as Steve's fine with it, I'll just link to maybe in the Modbot Discord to Steve's specific files. So happy belated birthday. Oh, we had some birthdays. Lisa, happy belated birthday. Hope you had a great birthday. Let's do a little birthday celebration. So yeah, back to what today. Today we're taking a look at the Sovol Zero. And I know very little about this printer, actually. It was first shared with me by either GPs or Del Mar. I want to say it was it this last December or the December before? I cannot remember. But I think that there was basically a flyer on some table at SMRRF that stated, and maybe there was even a model of it. It's been a long time. All I know is that it's inspired. You can't read that. A derivative work based on Voron 0.2. That is all that I know, and I've seen a brief photo of it. I am really excited though, because there's not a whole lot of small, fully enclosed CoreXY printers that are not kits. And then someone asked about pricing. I don't know. So currently on Sovol's website, it basically just has a sign up now. They did a really sounds like a plan. Sounds can you share that? Yeah. I'm in the middle of a beta that needs end stops, so I probably will keep end stops and cut out the hassle. I'm in the middle of a beta that needs end stops. I'll probably keep end stop. Wait, what beta? Beta for this or beta for something else? So Sovol did it a little bit weird, because the day that they told me I could show this off, they started teasing like there's this new thing coming. And then I know Nero dropped an unboxing and like first show video of it. So they did it really weird. I don't know, like plans clearly changed or there was a miscommunication internally. I don't really know. But on their website right now, it just says coming soon. However, if you're on Google, the product page says $499. Now, I have no idea whether that's a placeholder or whether that's accurate. Someone in chat just said early bird's 400 and then it'll be 450. I don't have any confirmation from Sovol directly. I'm just going based off of, I see this here, which is interesting, and then the product page doesn't state. So who knows? I've also seen plenty of printers in the past that like, they have an idea of what it's gonna launch at and then they end up dropping it. So we'll see long-term what it ends up being.
For the Itty Bitty Printy Committee Fund.
Andrew, thank you so much for the donation for the Itty Bitty Printy Committee Fund. Cheers, man. So yeah, we'll see. I don't know what it will be, but today the plan is basically let's take it out of the box, let's poke it, let's see kind of what it looks like, what we maybe don't like, and yeah, that's really the only plan I've got for today. Kind of a chillax stream, and then next Wednesday, Steve will be back, so we will continue on this channel, I believe at the same time, with the Tic Tac build. So I think we're primarily going to be working on the Toolhead and Fabrico! Thank you so much for the gifted memberships, man. Cheers. Let's do a Hadouken and air horn. Oh, air horn. There we go. Thank you. $499 is not really competitive. Yeah, so I think that if this had launched before the Centauri, it would have felt at least somewhat competitive at that price point. But based off what's currently out there, I tend to agree. It doesn't feel super competitive. I am hoping and I have no idea, like I said, I'm hoping that they're able to get this thing down to $399 as the retail, and then potentially lower than that with sales. But I have no idea. I have no idea what the manufacturing costs are. I have no idea what's in here as far as hardware. So it's hard to say, like, you know, it's nice to have a dream of what I would like for it to be, but I have no idea whether that's even possible based off of what's in this thing and what the cost is to make it. So I'll just throw these up top here. There's a Sovol Zero user manual, which is kind of beefy. And then this is a little flyer A little startup, how to cut the filament, and how to enable the camera. So there's that. That's cool. There's a camera. I do like that. It looks like we've got glass. This also looks, this looks bigger than a V0. So I wonder if it's 200 millimeter build volume. Like I said, I wasn't given any official specs. I just know that there was interest in this. Let's go side cam really quick here. There was interest in this when it was first shown to me. I think it's interesting. And so we're taking a look at it, but I don't know a whole ton about it other than, oh, okay. So this is definitely bigger than a V0. This is definitely bigger than a V0. This looks like probably 200 millimeters. No, I could be wrong. Maybe it's 180. Nope, 160. So it's 160 by 160. So 50%, am I right? No, math. 40, 80, 120 is so 160. So it's 1/3 larger than a V0. Matthew, thank you for the 29 months, buddy. Cheers. So there's our build plate. So that answers that. It's a 160. We've got a screen, which looks, oh no, it's a rotary style screen. We've got a power cable, filament runout sensor. Let's throw this off to the side. It is using, it looks like 1515s. Oh, dear God. Hold on, let me change camera. There we go, okay. I might just try to pull it out like this. Try not to hurt my back too much. It's a lot heavier than I feel like it should be. I was quite surprised. Oh, come on. When I was bringing the box up the stairs, I'm like, I thought this is supposed to be a tiny printer. It's got some heft to it as far as weight goes. Oh, come on. Awkward. Please stop. There we go. Okay. Packaged really nicely. It's got hard corners in the box. It's thick cardboard, and the whole thing is wrapped in foam and what is it? The sort of inflatable wrap stuff. There's still nothing that would make me buy an Algo FDM printer. Lack of spare parts for sales is a deal breaker. I'll have a full video on the Centauri. I've had it for quite a while. The initial impressions are mostly positive on it, I will say. The big issue, it was like, spec standpoint, I didn't really have much complaints. The main things right now are that oh, that unplugged. The main things right now were that the, can't tell if Jack's coming up. His grandparents, my parents are here. They're taking him for the day. For that's a pretty big tool head. It looks like the SV08 tool head. What was I saying? Yeah, the main things are it's loud. The fan in the back is incredibly loud. It's running what I'm calling like a. Sorry, I keep hearing footsteps, and it's making me think Jack's coming up. I don't know if he is. It's running some firmware that almost looks like Clipper, but they're saying it's not Clipper. And so they didn't have any of the files available, and they wouldn't give me SSH. I don't even know how that all works, so I didn't love that. And then it needs a light. It's very dark inside of it. But the main issue I ran into was it was working well, and then I went to slice up some files, and it kind of like locked up on me. And when I reset it, it never boot again. And so they told me that they found a bug that's since been fixed, but it required a board swap. And so I have the new board, I need to swap it in. But yeah, there's some things I like about it. Like, I think for the price, it's hard to argue that side of things. But yeah, spare parts is definitely a big thing. So we'll see. I turned off the case. Did you get one, Lisa? On the Centauri? Yeah, I'm sure just lowering the fan will make a pretty big difference, but I didn't do that. Yeah, this thing looks pretty cool. I didn't do that because I wanted to run it at the same like profile that they had set. Oh my God. Okay, let's take a quick look at this thing. Probably should look at the basic. It's been running great. Cool, nice. Yeah, the quality I was getting off of it was really impressive. It really was for, I mean, the price and the speed, it was like, okay, this is, and I'm sure that at that price point, there's going to be a pretty good sized community that's going to form around it. Oh no. I'll probably have to use some Goo Gone later. This tape stuff, man, a lot of companies use it, and it's sort of, it's like a lined tape, and it always leaves adhesive strands on it. That toolhead is sleeker than the SVO8. Okay, so it is sleek. Yeah, it does. Okay, we'll take a look at it. It definitely is similar looking to me. Like the motor on the back, it's got a pretty beefy motor on it. It looks like taller than I'm used to seeing on an extruder. Oh no, all this tape residue is gonna drive me nuts, but I don't know where my Goo Gone is, so I'm probably just gonna leave it on for the sake of this stream. Fiber, is that what it's called? Fiber packing tape? Yeah, it does, I mean, it does its job well. It just leaves little, let's see if I pull like directly at it. Yeah, no, that's not making much of a difference. So it's got tinted, it's glass. The front door is glass. It is not acrylic or polycarb. It's glass front door. It's a single piece. And this is much taller than the V0 as well. So let's take a quick look at the inside. Let's look at the toolhead firstly here. So I'm gonna assume they probably held it on with magnets, but I could be wrong. Nope, I'm wrong. It looks like there's clips. So let's see if I just go like this, and like this, and like this. Okay, so here's our toolhead. This is it a 5015 or no, it's B. It says EFC 05D24D. Oh, it's a 5020. Okay, so it's a 5020 fan, so a pretty good size fan. That is a very large, heater block on this thing. Like, I don't know, it's probably, is it the same that's on the SVO8 or is it bigger? It looks huge. Yeah, that is a monster heat block on this thing. Hey, Jose. Yeah, that is a very, very big one. Very, very big heat block. We've got a small little heatsink fan. And then this looks probably like an inductive probe. It's definitely a custom looking housing on it, but I'm gonna assume it's probably an inductive probe. And then we've got a toolhead board. I have no idea whether it is running CAN. Hopefully we can check the config. I don't know whether it's CAN or USB, but we got a toolhead board. There is a small ribbon cable, which I don't love ribbon cables. I'm not the biggest fan because they're just quite delicate. And it looks like the ribbon cable, I see it routed down here. So maybe the ribbon cable is going to that toolhead, like the inductive probe. I'm not entirely sure, but that's the direction it looks like. And then there is a couple of spare ports. There is a 4-pin right here. And then there is another 2-pin right here and another 4-pin. So there are some spare ports. I don't know if they're intending some kind of upgradability, but for the sake of modding, that will be nice. It also looks like there's a small 2209. Oh, you think it's an eddy probe? Oh, that's cool. Okay, that's pretty cool. So that's probably why they have a special cable on here then instead of what I'm used to seeing for something like an inductive probe. That's a monster sock. Okay, so that's sweet. So it's got an eddy current probe. Is there anything else we want to see on here? I don't feel like, it's a little dark and I apologize, but there's just not much I can do inside of here. The extruder looks very similar to what's on the SVO8. It's got its little tension arm here, it's direct drive, and then the motor, I might just pivot this downwards so you guys can see it from the top. Let me see, can I just lean you forward without damaging anything? Yeah, so the extruder motor is very tall in this direction. And then it has that little knob for manually feeding, which is also on the SVO8. And I do like that. It's nice to have for manually feeding filament through, but I don't know if there's much else. Just measured melt zone, SVO8 hot end is 20 mil. Okay, yeah, this is definitely bigger. I would say this is bigger than 20 mil. Let me grab, I don't think I have a small, I don't have my small ruler up here, and my freaking digital calipers still need batteries. Troy, thank you for the 19 months, man. Cheers. But I might be able to still get a better gauge of, I don't know, is this 40 mil? It's at least, no, it's not, I know this is not very, I'm gonna say it's 35 millimeters at least 30 to 35. I know this isn't great. I apologize. I wish I had a better setup right now, but it's big. Like, to at least give you some scale, it's large. So, nice to see that it has a collet. Yes! Yes, it is nice to see it has a collet. So let's go ahead and pop this back on. I got to be careful with routing the heater cable, or the fan cable, because on my SV08, I routed it poorly one time, and it was too close to the sun, the hot end, and it melted it. So I had to fix that. So it is using linear rails. We've got a linear rail on this side and this side. The extrusions do appear to be 1515s, and then it's not using a cantilevered bed, but it's not using a trident or a salad fork style bed. It's just got two rails, and I don't know whether they're independently driven or whether they're it doesn't look like they're independently driven, actually. And the reason why I say that is if we go like this and I zoom in, I don't know how well you'll be able to see it, not good at all. There is an upside down motor right here, which you really can't see. Once I turn it on and lift the bed, I'll show you, but there's an upside down motor. So this thing tells me on the bottom, there's probably a belt tied around both of these guys. One thing I do like is there is a built-in nozzle brush here. I've really become a fan of these, really from like the Bamboo A series. They just seem to work quite well. So I do like that there is a little nozzle wiper there. Let's go ahead and throw our flex plate on. Let's see, flex plate like that. There we go. Okay. Yeah, let's flip this thing over and let's just take the back. Okay. Oh, there's a beefy. Holy crap. Okay, I didn't see that. That's kind of cool. It's probably belted, which is cheap, but weirdly enough reliable. Yeah. It is a small bed, like, I mean, you know, still at what did I say, 160? It's still a small bed, so as long as the bed is somewhat flat with its mounting points, it should still be fine. Yeah, there's an auxiliary fan. I didn't realize that blows from the backside. It looks this looks kind of jank to me. I don't know if this is because this is an early version, but the cutting looks like it was not machined. That looks hand cut to me. So that's the first thing I'm seeing that looks a little jank. But I did want to point that out since I did just see that. So let's pop off the let's pop off the back. Let's pop off the back. Yes, so we've got a bunch of, it looks like 1.5 millimeter size screws. Nope. 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 I'm wrong. They are 2 millimeter. But the cutout does look better than I could do with a, yeah. Yes. It's like, it's not awful, but it could be better. Like, it's definitely not the worst I've seen. I used to, before I got into 3D printing, this channel was mostly a video game modding and hacking channel. And I was getting into case modding, and everything was done pretty much with a Dremel. And it looks a lot better than the Dremel jobs I was doing. But it just, I feel like it can be improved upon. It's a minor detail, but it's still a detail, and I like to point out everything I see. $3.99 early bird. I hope they're able to make it after launch that $3.99 is the base price with occasional sales. I would love, I think that it would make it more appealing. Fabrico! Thank you so much for the 19 months. Sure do have nice drivers. Oh yeah. Yeah, look at these. Look at these. I'll hand model these for you. Look at these. If you see, there's an F there for Fabrico. Look at these bad boys. Limited edition. Not really limited edition. You can just get them from Fabrico. But these are solid. I've used these for a really long time. We'll do another Hadouken. These are nice drivers. I use my Bondus for a lot of things, but for all other situations, these are my go-to drivers, and have been for a couple years now. On their website, yeah, on their website, it doesn't show a price from what I'm seeing, but in Google search, it shows $4.99, but that doesn't mean anything per se. I mean, it could, but it could also just be kind of a placeholder. I don't know. Pull out the Fabrico drivers and a wild chamois pierce. Yeah, I got the feeling you need to be careful with the back panel. The electronics might be directly mounted to it. It doesn't look like it. I mean, maybe, no, up top it can't be. I don't think so. Something tells me, I'm not even convinced. Well, no, it does look like all the electronics are here. Power supply might be underneath the printer. I'm not seeing that. But it doesn't look like the electronics are mounted to this thing. No, it's not. It's not. That would have been... I wouldn't have liked that if it was. Let me not bend this. It's sheet metal, but it's still somewhat thin sheet metal, so I don't want it to bend. Oh, come on, final screw. Why is the last screw screwing me? There we go. All right. Let's turn this towards the light so we can take a look at it. A lot going on back here. A lot more than I expected, actually. So it does look like it's using an AC bed, which I'm not upset with. I do typically like AC beds, especially on CoreXY printers where the bed's not rocking back and forth. So this is our auxiliary fan, which is definitely smaller than a big printer. It's kind of adorable, but it's still like, this is gonna chuck a lot of air considering the form factor of this guy. So hey Giggle, wait, are those all stamped steel? Yes, the panels are all stamped steel. That is correct. Yep. So, I mean, I will say this, that so far it doesn't feel cheap, right? Like, they went with glass, which has to cost more, I would assume, than acrylic. And then the panels are steel, which cannot be cheap compared to what they could have gone with. So I mentioned earlier that, like, and also I do like this, like, it's a small detail, but they do have insulation strips around it, which is something I appreciate. A lot of companies don't do that. So that does look quite nice. Yeah, that probably is why it's so hefty. I mean, even just this small panel here, it's definitely got some weight to it. So yeah, we've got in here our AC coming in, which it's got a cover on it. And then this, I'm assuming, is our SSR. These are funky. I'm so used to the, Voron enclosed style. I think they're on-run SSRs, but this is going to be the SSR for our heated bed. We've got our stepper motors. Our stepper motors do have heat sinks on them, which is also kind of cool to see. That's really not something I see a lot of companies doing. It's got beefy, I don't know how well you can see that, it's black, but it's a beefy heat sink. It's probably, I don't know, 10 millimeters approximately. Maybe not 10 millimeters, I might be exaggerating a little. Is it 5? No, I'm not exaggerating. It's a 10 millimeter heat sink. So, and it covers the entire, base of both of those motors. And then we have a large blower fan, which is angled. So it's blowing specifically on the drivers. That's what it's blowing on. The driver, here's our drivers right here for our AB motors. So that's what the fan is blowing on. It does use an eMMC module, so it's not using micro SD card, which I typically prefer. And it looks like there's quite a bit of I/O available still for future mods and stuff. I mean, there's a 4-pin, a 3-pin, a 2-pin, another 4-pin, two 2-pins, and then a handful of 3-pins down here, and another 3-pin right there. So there's quite a bit of expansion possibility. The board is labeled H616JC3Z5160V1.2. It's using an H616, which makes sense because that's in the name of the actual, board. So that's going to be our Clipper host, the chip they're using for the Clipper host. And then the actual board itself is using an STM32H7, looks like it says 50V8T. So yeah, I'm quite pleased with the electronics bay. Does it have 5160 drivers? That's a great question. I can't tell because this is on here and it looks like they used an adhesive glue or some kind of an insulation glue to attach them. Hopefully we get access to, I don't know if they have instructions on how to SSH into this, but if we do have that, we can check in the config. It has 5160s at 48 volts. Holy crap. Okay. Well, the price is starting to make more sense now. Yeah, it's interesting because like they're with the SV08, they definitely were, trying to make an affordable 2.4. So I thought, like, my assumption with this was like, okay, they're going to try to make a low-cost V0, but it doesn't seem like that was their vision with this. Like they didn't go the low-cost route, and they kind of seem like they're aiming for a baby beast, which I'm not upset with. The price is to be debated, Marcos. They haven't released an official price. Some people have said that they've heard it'll be an early bird price of $399, and then after that, did someone say $449 or $499? If there's no price on the product page yet, because it's like it hasn't really been launched. But in Google search results, if you just search in Google Sovol Zero, the product listing, like the, I don't know, the short code or the description of the product page says $499, but I have no idea whether that's a placeholder. I will say this, that there's a lot of companies that I talk to that are sending printers early before there's a product page, and I asked them, hey, what's MSRP going to be on this? And they don't have that information. They're like, it's still debated. So I don't know whether that price is factual or whether it's just like, you know, a placeholder. I really don't know. Yeah, until they officially launch it, I don't want to say anything definitively because they haven't told me anything specifically. All right, let me throw these last couple screws in here just so I don't lose them. And then we'll take a look at the bottom. I'm assuming that's where our, sounds like 48 volt power supply. So is there two power supplies in here then? There's one that's 48 volts for the drivers and the motors, and one that's 24 volts for the rest of the machine. I do wish that it had clipper screen. I know it's a small printer and like the analog screen is more than sufficient, but because they clearly went kind of extra with everything, it would have been cool if it had a 5-inch. I imagine that's going to be a mod that people are going to be doing. I actually didn't check to see if there was actually... Yeah, there's an let's check it out. Oh shit, I dropped something. You've got Ethernet, you've got 2 external USBs, and you've got HDMI. So I can just about guarantee that there's either going to be an upgrade kit like the SC08, or people will just end up adding clipper screen to it. I don't know if I'll even end up doing it. I don't know that it's fully needed, but it's interesting. PF, thank you for the, what was it, 10 gifted memberships, man. Cheers, buddy. Air horn, gotta do a squirrel, and then a Hadouken. Thank you so much for the support. 3.5-inch SPI screen for clipper screen would make sense on this. Yeah, 3.5-inch would be probably more than sufficient. But yeah, it's at least nice to have a screen. Like, I'm glad they, like, if the options were headless or having the little rotary style screen. What? How am I missing a screw? Okay, well, I somehow lost a screw, which I don't understand how. There's a... Unless I put a screw in a spot there wasn't a screw. Screws here, screws here, screws here. No, I think there should be maybe it was missing a screw all along. I don't know, but it's fine. It's the back panel, and there's probably more than enough screws already on. But yeah, I'm missing a single screw. Okay, let me tighten these up, and then we'll look at the bottom, and then we'll go through. This screw's loose. You know what? I bet you that's where the filament. That's got to be why. It's probably where the spool holder is going to be attached. And that could also be why I'm missing a screw. Maybe there's one in the filament run. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Okay, so let's tilt this. What's the best way to tilt it? I don't want to tilt it on its front. Let's tilt it on its back side. Oh, hey, John. Hey, Steve. So it's got big old shock absorbing feet. Let's peel off this tape for the screen. Let me just try to move this a little bit. I don't want to lose it in the void, but I also want to access the bottom. Okay, let's get these screws off. These are just plastic self-tappers. Either way, how much this thing costs is, I'm probably going to get one. Really need a small desktop printer like this. Yeah, I do think that I don't see this being like the printer that's going to take over the small, you know, CoreXY entry-level space, but I can see this still having a nice community behind it. I saw them, like, because it's based off the V0, it's, from what I read, at least online, it's going to be fully open source, which means that all the step files will be available, which will mean that modding, upgrades, and repairability will be awesome, and I imagine people are going to do absolutely crazy things with this. Can you chuck the airflow through the fake skirts vents? No. There's no vents on the skirts. They're completely sealed on the skirts. There we go. These are some beefy feet. Yeah, okay, so that's what I was expecting to see as far as the belts go. So it is a single, you've got your pulley here and your pulley here and your motor here. So the belt's wrapped around, and then you've got your tension mechanism here, which is fairly similar to what we've seen. This is an interesting power supply. It's only a 24 volt power supply. I thought you said there was 48 volts down under. Unless there's a small power supply I missed somewhere in the back, but I didn't see a power supply. But this is 24 volts. This is a really big, it's a big small power supply. What it lacks in length, it makes up for in width. But it does say it's just a 150, so it's a 24 volt, 6.5 amp power supply, and there is there's spare connection on it as well. Yeah, 24 volts. So I don't know that it is. What brand is the PSU? It's not Meanwhile. I can't read the logo. It's a little red, almost looks like Pac-Man. Let me zoom in on it. Almost looks like a little Pac-Man guy eating, but the company says C-H-A-N-G, Changzhou, so C-H-A-N-G-Z-H-O-U, Changzhou, C-H-U-A-N-G-L-I-N, Changzhou Shengling Power Supply Technology. Yeah, not Meanwhile. It is not a Meanwhile. I would have announced it if it was right away when I saw it. Okay, let's put the base back on and then go through whatever the setup process is like on this. Oh man, this is a little sharp, this bottom panel. So if anyone gets one of these and takes it apart, be careful. Can I get it back on? That is the question. Okay. I think if I bend the feet, I can probably do, yeah. A little sharp. There we go. Careful fingers. Let's not cut ourselves on stream, or in general. Off stream is also bad to cut yourself. There we go. Okay. So I'm gonna just loosely get these back installed, and then I'll tighten them down just to make sure it's all aligned. Yeah, big feet. Big feet. These are very large feet. They did not go with little feet on this guy. Olaf from the Pacific Northwest. How's it going? I am excited to just turn this thing on and see how it does. I didn't realize it had an eddy current sensor, which, I mean, feels overkill on this, but I'm not upset. Like, you're not going to see me mad as long as it works well. I'm curious to see how it does with like thermal compensation, or maybe it's using nozzle like a tap setup. But yeah, my initial impressions are that it's definitely got more going on than I was expecting. I was expecting basically an injection molded V0, but there's quite a bit more to this than just that. Chingling, yeah, that's the power supply. Sorry if I butchered the name. I promise I did my best. Okay, let's stand this up and then look at it's got a lot of weight, man, for this form factor. It's heavier than some print. I mean, I would think I don't know what the weight is of the K1, but I feel like it can go toe to toe weight wise with the K1, which is quite a bit larger of a printer. Okay, so startup. Okay, so Wi-Fi is done over USB, so we need user manual. Top glass cover, cool. Cable ties, power supply, cool. Step 1. Unpack the outer package. Take the printer out. Great. Screen. There are 2 screen cables directly below the machine. Insert each cable to its corresponding hole in sequence and snap the screen into the bottom slot. So I can do that. Unless I'm confusing the pics, it was leaked with a different printer. It had 2 UHP power supplies. It was over a month ago. Yeah, I don't see them in here, man. So I don't know if that was like a prototype or what. We'll see what it has if I can access the config. But yeah, as far as underneath it, I just saw the one power supply. Okay, that seems like it's in. That's in, and then it just goes in like that, and then snaps down. There we go. Cool. I'll do a little peel action for everybody. Let's see. Well, let me turn off autofocus, otherwise it's going to focus on my hand. There we go. Where's the... It's going to be really tricky actually to peel this. There we go. Okay, there we go. It did make the satisfying peel sound. I don't think you're able to hear it, but it did. Okay. So that's the first step, is install the screen, which is done. Step 3, material breakage detection. Okay. So it's just it looks like it's just an on-off. Let's turn this. Oh, like this. Okay, I think it's going in. Yeah, there's a cable there, so that makes sense. First, the PTFE tube on the extrusion nozzle. Wait, PTFE tube? I don't see a PTFE tube. Oh, you know what? It's probably in this box. Yes. Okay, so what? How does this... Okay, so it looks like this goes in through... Let me bring you guys up a little bit. Exact screen mold, yeah. I'm sure that they recycle, for the sake of manufacturing and cost, recycled a few things between the 2 machines. Okay, so it looks like this guy just gets shoved through here, like that. That's kind of interesting. That's the side of the printer, and not the top. So, and then this guy is going down there. And then this will go into our filament runout. So we've got that. Insert into the material breakage, and then... Okay, and it says that there should be a screw that's thread locked. And that's going into that... No. Is there a missing screw? It's a little... No, that's the spool holder. So wait a minute. Is it going on this side? Yeah, it's going on... The picture's a little confusing here. Let me show. So like, they have it showing the front of the machine, but then this is focusing on the back of the machine. So it does look like filament goes out there, and then it does get mounted into the bottom hole here. But the thing I find odd about that is... You have a screw in the bottom hole. You have no screw in the top one. So does this need to go there and there's a different screw for there? I don't entirely know the answer to that. It's showing it goes in the bottom. And there should be an M316 with a gasket. Okay, maybe it's in here. So they include, it looks like, a couple spare nozzles. It looks like a hardened steel and a plated copper. I don't know why they didn't just install that one on there. Lots of gaps in the enclosure. Wonder what chamber temp will get. Is there a lot of gaps? It's insulated. The whole thing's insulated, Tor. Like, I'm looking, every single panel has insulation where it meets the extrusion, so I don't know if there's actually a lot of gaps outside of like vent holes. There's a spare little nozzle brush. And then this I'm assuming is what they're talking about. There's a little standoff and there's a washer. Let's see, looking at this, so it looks like, yes. So I'm thinking that it goes here and that they made a whoopsie on this screw that should go there. So let's swap this screw to there. Unless that's where, you know what? They probably did that on purpose. Where's the filament run out? No, filament run out looks like it's going, or I'm sorry, the, okay, let's do what I think I need to do. So based off their images, it looks like this screw's in the wrong place. It seems to me like this should be higher up. Unless they changed things since the photo. What do we think? Should I just stick with... You know what, screw it. Let's leave this and just install it and assume that the picture is incorrect and then it's going up one step higher. Okay, so we'll say it's going in here. And the way this goes in is like this. Yes, so like this. And there's a screw and a standoff and a washer. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking, is that because the wire has enough length, the image shows it going in the bottom, but it's possible that they change things up in the end. Okay, so these all the same size screws they are. So it's basically a screw with a tiny little standoff that goes over it, like that. Then this is going through the injection molded part, like that. And then there's a tiny little washer, because I'm assuming it's because this has a beveled edge to it, that it just kind of goes over the entire thing like this. I should probably remove the tape though, otherwise I'm gonna not be able to. Here we go. Okay, and this is a 2.5mm screw since it's a socket head. There we go. Okay, so that's installed. I don't need to go too tight. Let's get our little PTFE tube, and then let's connect this in here like this. Huh, does this not? It is kind of a tough reach actually. I wonder if it is supposed to be on the lower one. Maybe the image was not incorrect because it only pivots this way. And I'm looking at this and like that's kind of putting strain on that cable. If it's I kind of think we should swap it. Can you start all over? Hey, John. Is there an announced MSRP yet? Not officially, no. Not officially. I think we should swap it. Let's undo this guy. Yeah, it's a little tight. NEMA 17s, yes. From what I saw, they're full-size NEMA 17s. They're beefy. They're very tall, and there's heat sinks on the bottom of both of them. So let's move this guy down here. I'm just gonna see if I can hold it in my hand while I undo the other one. That probably won't work because the plastic part's gonna fall off, isn't it? Let's see if I can use my hands here. PTFE actually joining at the white fitting, or are they using a single piece and just using it like an end stop? I think it is joining. We can check that though. Shoot. Okay, I saw where the screw fell. Okay, so this is going like that. This is going in here. That feels, I think this is correct. Yeah, I like having more slack on this piece. It feels better. Yeah, let me get the screw I dropped. Oh. Okay, let's pop this. I don't know why this screw's loose too right here, which is odd to me. Like I thought I was attaching something there, but I don't believe that's the case. So let's tighten that. Okay, why are we not going in? There we go. Okay, so let's see if the PTFE actually, I think it does disconnect based off what I'm looking at here. Hold on. Okay. It does, yeah. So it does disconnect there. And then there is a little antenna here for, why is it not focusing? It is on autofocus. Sorry everyone, I don't know why it's, I'm gonna turn off autofocus for a second here. It's blurry looking. What are we focusing on? Okay, there we go. All right, let's attach our antenna. I just gotta remember the antenna's there now if I lean this thing over. So who's making a tool changer version? All right, antenna is going in. Like that. Zoom. Oh, why is, this is usually loose. Okay, we'll have it facing up like that. Huh, that doesn't, I feel like these normally pivot. That feels very rigid. I'm gonna be careful with that. And then the runouts, not the runout sensor. There we go. I missed it in step one. Okay, so our, oh, that's cool. They used, this is very Voron-like. They used PTFE lining this to make it more slippery. Okay, cool. So final two screws, that should be it, I think, as far as setup goes. Then we should be able, why is this? This is loose too. This is loose too. What's going on here, guys? This is very loose. Are all these loose? No, it's just those two. Interesting. These are some really big screws for the run out. The logic of placing the Wi-Fi antenna up against a steel plate is baffling. Yeah, probably not going to do us any favors as far as, is this even going in? Or am I'm using the wrong driver. Oh my God. There we go. Did you take that panel off to see the main board? I took off this panel. Wait, is that the panel? No, I didn't take off this panel. This was not a me thing. I took off this panel. I was like, wait, is it my doing? No, I didn't touch this panel. But we did look at the main board. Yes, the back has got a lot going on. There's an auxiliary fan, there's a beefy board cooling fan, there's an SSR, and there is our main board that's hooked up to an eMMC. Yeah, there's another big fan here. What is that? That's a carbon filter. So this is an exhaust fan. There's a carbon filter inside. I didn't see that when once we boot this thing on, we'll take another look inside. It just, I think the bed is kind of blocking some of it. When they're done with that printer, I can send it to you. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, so is there anything else we have to do? I think that's antennas in, install the glass cover. Cool, that's it. PI needs to be cleaned. I'm not gonna run downstairs right now. We're just gonna see how the adhesive is from the factory, how much oil's on that bed. Okay, cool. So let's go ahead and change cameras. Hi everybody, let me throw. When printing with high temperature filaments and remove when printing with PLA. Install. So there's this little, kind of strange that they have this and it's not injection molded just considering everything else is machined, but this is a printed part with magnets. So there must be a vent on here somewhere that I haven't seen yet. Oh, interesting. It's magnetic, so I don't know what hole we're supposed to be covering. But there is this. So it says remove for PLA and add on for high temp. So we'll figure, is there something that matches it? Hex, is it on the bottom? There's hexagons on it and there's hexagons on this whole thing, which makes me think that like, maybe there's a thing it'll slot into, but I don't know. For right now, we'll leave it off because we're just gonna play around with some PLA. Let me peel this guy. Oh, that's kind of cool. There's the injection molded pieces have these little turning tabs. You probably can't see them very well, but they'll actually help secure this piece in place. So let's see, once I have this on here, yep, they're locked in. Okay, so now, yeah, it adds pressure to the glass. So that way, I still wouldn't take my chances with it, but it does It does secure that the glass in place a little bit. Don't break anything. Yeah. Thanks, Nappin. Show up just when I'm playing around with glass. Okay, let's keep it turned this way so we can loud take a look at it. Plug in the power cable. And then basically once we have it up and running, where's the... There you are. And my cable, or my workbench is not actually plugged in. It's a very short cable, and every time I kick my bunch of wires, it undoes it. Okay, here we go, everyone. We're gonna power it on. I didn't see LEDs, but I wasn't looking for them. I would love for there to be at least some sort of LED inside of here. Light things up. Okay, and then let's turn off autofocus. Off manual focus. There we go. Okay, turning it on in 3, 2, 1. Sovol, system booting. Yeah, it's weird. The power supply entry port is on the side and it's pretty high up. I don't love, like, with everything there's good and bad. Like, side is easier to access, but this is a small machine, although it's kind of heavy. But it does mean that you can't have machines quite so close together on a rack if you had a bunch of them. So, I don't know, I'm kind of indifferent on that. It's not as weird as Cheedy having their USB port at the top and back right corner of their printers. It's a lot bigger than I expected too. Okay. I don't see any LEDs. That would be the first mod I would be doing to this, is adding some light, because boy is it dark. So what is the setup process? It wants us to put it on the network basically right away. Use the flash drive included in the machine. Search for the file name wifi.config. Okay, let me do the Wi-Fi really quickly here. Where's the flash drive? There it is. It's the same as their other one. There's a wifi.cfg file that you basically just open it up, put your credentials in, and then pop it back into the machine. So let me do that really quickly here. Just put the camera on me for a sec. Okay, continue without scanning. There's an 8-minute Benchy on here. That's cool. Okay, wifi.cfg open with drive. Yes, Notepad++. Okay, SSID. Do I need to put parentheses? Sure doesn't look like it. Okay. Okay. All right, that should be done. I think I probably have to power off the printer. Open the Wi-Fi config. After entering it, save it, ensuring it remains in the root directory. Power on the machine. Yeah, I should have done that before we powered this thing on. Hopefully there's a power off option from this little screen. We'll find out right now. Let's see. I'm going to hard turn it off one time and hope I don't corrupt the MMC. I don't recommend doing this, but we're going to do it this one time. I think the Cheedy USB location is to connect to AMS when they release it. I don't think it's going to go over that USB port. And also, it's been there for like many generations of their machines before they even entertained the idea of multicolor. I don't know why it's there. If it was just on this single machine and they did end up using it for that, I would agree with you, but I don't think it's the case. Wait, is Aaron in chat? I miss Aaron? Oh, hi everybody! Both myself and the baby are good today. Yeah, I think are my parents still here? Let's see if I see their car. Nope, they bailed. So Jackson is gone. He got a big boy seat this last week. Got a big boy car seat. He's now facing forward, and we took off one of the walls of his bed, so he's got a day bed now. It's been a big week for Jack. You know what? There was something not connected inside of here as well. I remember that now. So that might be the camera. We'll worry about that. Yeah, we'll worry about that in a minute. Okay, so let's see. One, two. That looks like the default. Yeah, that is the default. That is not correct, so it did not work. Let's go through. Let's just calibrate. Let's go through the calibration process. Gosh, it's dark. It says eddy calibrate, so it is absolutely an eddy current probe. So bed's heating up to 65 and hot end is heating up to 130. That's cool. So it is using an eddy current probe, not an inductive probe. Is there still tape inside? I don't think so. Oh yeah, on the, this is our carbon filter. Where's the cable that was unplugged that I saw? I don't see it now, and that's concerning to me. There was absolutely, is it right here? It's right here, it's right here. No. Oh, the camera. There's a cover on the camera. Camera looks like it's plugged in, but, oh, there is LEDs. That's what was unplugged. No, yeah, that's what's unplugged. Okay, stick. As soon as we get done with this, we will go ahead and turn it off. I need LEDs. It's not a lot of LEDs. It's just a tiny little bar like what the SU8 has, but hopefully it's slightly more effective due to this machine's size. Can you plug an HDMI into the output on the machine and into your capture on your PC, and you can try settings with command from the UI? I'm sure I can. I don't know where I have an HDMI that long right now. I'd rather not go that route. I'd rather just get it working and see. The magnetic cover goes over the carbon filter. That makes sense. So it does. And the carbon filter, it seems like it's also printed. I need to take a closer look at it. I'm not sure what's happening. It says eddy calibrate, no temperature stuff's happening. Okay, it's doing input shaping. So it does have an ADXL on the toolhead. Hey, Rob! Hopefully we can get supported eddy probe for the SU8 as well. Yeah, it would be cool if, at the very least, Sovol released an upgrade for the SU8 that had an eddy current probe. I would absolutely install that. Okay, so it already seems like it ran input shaping, which is odd. That was very quick. System's rebooting. Now it just says ready. That doesn't feel like a very thorough calibration process. And I don't see a power off option on here. Advanced, show IP, eddy calibration, resonance, time lapse, Linko Beco. It's weird to me that there's no shutdown on this. So I guess I am just gonna hard pull it again. Just gonna flip the switch, which I don't love doing. I'm going to plug in the little LED connector, if I can manage. looks like that's the right orientation. Okay, that's in. And let me take one more look at this drive to make sure. Maybe I need parentheses around the, or maybe I typed something wrong. I'll find out right now. Let's see. So example, SSID, they have a space after, which I think is odd. I don't see why you would want a space. Yeah, that looks right. So I will add I don't see why a space would make a difference, man, but all I know is I'm looking at their instructions. Can we see this? Yeah. They've got this here and the example down there. And the example has a space between the equal sign. Oh, come on. Between the equal sign and the Wi-Fi name and password. So I can try that. SSID equals space. Do you need parentheses? It doesn't say that you do. It doesn't show. I feel like save the info Wi-Fi config file. I don't know that you do. I wouldn't think the space is needed either. To me, a space would throw off because a space would be a character. Throws head and shoulders at the monitor. Look like the snippet next to it didn't have a space. Yeah, it doesn't. And there is a Wi-Fi.cfg.bak file, which I'm wondering if that is part of the issue. I'm gonna move that to the desktop and see if that's tripping something up. So let's see. Okay, I moved it to the desktop, so I'm gonna delete it from the drive. I'm wondering if that is causing an issue. I have no idea. I don't see any space. Everything's correct. Okay. I don't know. We'll just try it again, I guess. Let's see if me deleting that file did anything. There was a Wi-Fi file, which I'm just wondering if, like, because it saw that. Oh, autofocus tripping out. Okay, let's see how this goes. Hi, Smoothie. Look at how adorable this little printer is. It's cute, right? Thank you. I got Smoothie. Yay, strawberry banana. Thank you. Okay, let's turn it on. Monkey, you gotta go downstairs, Bubba. Let's see how it looks with the lights. Editing a text file for Wi-Fi feels so barbaric. Yeah, I agree. I don't love it. Come on, LEDs. It's taking a while to boot this time, I feel like. Okay, LEDs. Let's see how it looks with it closed. Yeah, it's not great. It's not great. It's it's a checkbox LED, that's for sure. Okay, let's see if we show IP works. You know what? I think I had to do it twice on the SV08 for some reason as well. So let's see if I go advanced and I go to show IP. Come on, baby. It's still not working. Still not working. It has the default values. So that's unfortunate. Well, I mean, we can still load up some filament right now. I'll run the Benchy really quick, and then I can tackle this in a minute. I think let's just do that. Let's load up some filament, and at least just see this thing print, and then I'll go from there. But I would really like to see the config, and I really don't want to run around looking for an HDMI and hooking it up to the capture card. I know that is an option, but we shouldn't have to do that. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna feed filament through here. Okay, filament's going through. Let's prepare. Preheat PLA. Okay. Okay. I don't know. It doesn't feel like it's... We'll see. Well, I'm just going to try to feed it and see if it grips it. If not, then I'll take the top off and manually feed it. Has to be 2.4 gig Wi-Fi and plug stick in after boot? It says to do it before boot. Power on the machine, enter the system. Power on the machine, enter the system, and then plug the USB port into one of the two USB ports on the right side. Oh my god. Oh my god. All right, let's try this again. Thank you. Reading is not like... I know like everyone here probably thinks like, oh yeah, Dan, he could read. Nah, you'd be wrong. Okay, let's see. It says wait 10 to 15 seconds. So let's see if that ends up working. You legend. You legend. It's crazy how things work if you just follow instructions. 139. Thank you. If I could give stars out, you would absolutely have a star next to your name. Oh, baby. All right. Dan fails to follow instructions. Take 4. Really, man, it's a lot of text. I'm looking at it. I'm like, I just want to get this thing going. Okay, so camera is working. Let's just see what our config looks like. Huh, has a clipper screen config. What is that? So it's CAN bus. It is running CAN bus for the Toolhead. It's not USB. LIS2DW. I don't know what that is. G-code arcs resonance tester. This is neat. Is this... I don't have this enabled on my... I don't have this enabled on any of my main sales. This is really handy. This little side menu, as you scroll, you can like quickly click on something like, hey, I want to go to the extruder section. Bam. That's really cool. Is everyone else running that? I just didn't know it. Okay, that's the ADXL. Gotcha. Okay, so that's the ADXL. Sweet. Temperature sensor. So MCU temp, post temp, which is just internal temps. Temperature sensor toolhead temp. Okay, yeah, MCU as well. Virtual SD card. Max Excel set to 40K in firmware. Input shaping. Okay, so there's our eddy current stuff. So one thing I haven't done is set a Z offset. I don't know whether that's automated with this. I know that eddy current now, like outside of beacon, it just can do that. Yeah, 40K. It's a new feature. I love it. Get pressure tare. Remeasure the tare value of pressure. I wonder if that is that the probing? The sidebar becomes irritating, but can be disabled. Okay, cool. Probe pressure. So that makes me think that you don't have to set a Z offset on this. Run current, let's see. It's 5160s, so it is running 5160s. That was correct. Run current 3.5. Holy crap. Jeez. I don't know if I'm running 5160s on anything. Maybe my VZ. I've never seen anything close to that. That is insane. They are monster. They're really big motors and they have really big heat sinks on them. Yeah, they're both 3.5 amp. Our 2209 is only running at 1.5. That still seems really high for a 2209. I don't want to change anything, everyone. Like this is how it showed up. I wouldn't normally change things like this in a normal test. So I think we just do the thing and see what happens. See if it destroys itself. But those settings seem insane. Auto home, cool down, preheat. Can I guess I could just feed filament from the console, huh? Or from the speed test macro. Let's start with the Benchy and then we can do the speed test. Let me hold on here. Are we heated up? We're heated up. Okay, so let's extrude. Okay, it did grab the filament, so that's good. Didn't have to do anything. I'm excited to play around with this thing. It's certainly it's got a lot more to it than I was expecting. I'm just gonna say that. Like I said earlier, I was expecting just an injection molded V0, kind of like what the SCO8 is for the most part. I mean, with some slight tweaks, but okay. So they did test print on it. I'm loading in blue filament, and it looks like there's black already loaded. It's gonna have quite a bit of purging because it is a really big a really big heating element. All right, let's just fire up the Benchy, man. It's an 8-minute 40-second Benchy. Here we go. I have not done a Z offset, so I'm praying that it's just an automated thing. I'm assuming nozzle pressure. Okay, so it's not touching the nozzle there. It does nozzle probe. It did nozzle probe. It probed once with the nozzle, now it's doing a nozzle wipe. Do you have an IR thermal to check motor temps? I do have one. I have a FLIR cam and another one actually I could use with my phone, but I have to pull the back panel back off, which I totally don't mind doing, but it is like 10 screws, so I just want to see what this looks like here. Let me turn you guys a little bit. There we go. I'm probably gonna turn off autofocus too, because I imagine it's gonna go buck wild in a second here. It even has a chamber thermistor? It does have a chamber thermistor. Yeah, I didn't see that. That's cool. Okay, so temperature is heating back up, which I don't know why it dropped in the first. Oh, it's cooling down. This is cooling down the hot end at 130. Which I guess makes sense if it's going to be doing some nozzle probing. There's still filament on that. Oh, no, there's not. It cleared it off. It's 160 on the bed, and I don't know the rest of the build volume size, actually. Let me see what the x-axis says in the firmware. X says position max is 155. That's weird. But it says position end stop -10. It seems like it's 160 by 1... Okay, so it is scanning. There's our eddy current. And that looked like it was probably a variable mesh. I don't think it scanned the whole bed. It just scanned the Benchy area. Yeah, it might be one... The bed measured 160 edge to edge, but maybe if we're going with just the white area that's inside, like there's probably 5 millimeters on each side, so maybe it is 150 all around. I don't have, like, they didn't provide me with much of anything other than I knew that there was interest in this because when it was first sort of teased or someone saw it, in stream like a year ago, someone was like, hey, like, this seems cool. But yeah, normally companies provide me with some sort of additional details. Okay, so we got a purge line. Okay, so it's printing in the very back because that's where it's closer to the aux fan. Now we're off. Okay, 150 cube. I don't think this would follow the speed test rules. The infill, I don't know what the infill requirement has to be. It looks like it's 2 walls, which I do think is That chucks a lot of air, man. That really chucks a lot of air. I will say the very front of the boat is looking surprisingly good considering how quick it's printing. Oh, it might be speedboat rules then. I don't know if it's 10%. That's my only thing. It does look like 2 walls. I just don't know if that's 10% or less. It's pretty wide squares. It's pretty loud. Let me grab my phone here. Like I've got an app for this. 1 second. Where is the app? I got a million apps. There we go. I would say that's loud. 73 decibels from a foot away. Let me close the door. Down to 65. 73 open, 65 closed. It's all that fan. The motion doesn't sound incredibly loud to me. It's all that back fan. It's chucking a lot of air. Like, it's chucking much more air than I was expecting, given the size that we saw on it. It makes sense to me why the overhangs are looking a lot better than I was expecting. You can prop the glass top open with the exhaust cover panel. Wait, what? You can prop the glass top open. Oh. You mean it just kind of slots into the extrusion? It's boogieing. it's boogieing. Boogieing. We're at 43%. My whole table is shaking. Flow rate is around 25 cubic millimeters a second. It's spiking to 49, but that's only for a second. I would say 25 cubic millimeters a second, approximately. 25, 26 is what it's running at its kind of peak area, which is probably for maybe the walls. The new term is boogin? Is it? I haven't heard anyone say that. Yeah, no, they did. I mean, I can't blame them for doing that, but they did. They did not put the Benchy there on accident. They put it there to be close to the cooling fan. The cooling, the airflow will not be the exact same at the farther end of the plate. There's, you know, it is now. Centauri is very loud. Yep. I've been pretty much exclusively using it for PLA at this point, so I'm using the default profiles. And so, yeah, it's loud. It's the fan, too. It's the same thing. I mean, the walls are looking a little meh, but this isn't a quality Benchy, right? This is a speed Benchy, so I can't be too upset. How is this Centauri versus the K1C or Max? That's my only real comparison. It's louder. It's hard, like, saying it's louder doesn't really, I know it doesn't really do much. Like, that's not a scale, which is why I've been trying to include using the app from like 1 foot away from the printer to give kind of a numeric value to how loud it is, but it's definitely louder. I don't know if I measured the K1 Max when I tested it. I don't think I had the app set up then. So it says we're at 8 minutes and 44 seconds so far, but the issue with that is that it's going to be less than that. I think the timer starts the second it starts moving, so the probing and cleaning would be part of it. It's fast. This is the this is a fast print, but this is not. I mean, you know, again, this is more of a this is more of an extreme stress test. This is not what you should expect to print regular parts at. Says it's got 1 minute and 40 seconds left. Well, slicer 1 minute and 40, estimate is 1 minute. Yeah, for prototyping, I guess. It just depends on what you're prototyping. If you're concerned with tolerances, then I would say no. But if you're just doing, like, I don't know, maybe rough form and fit, then sure. Yeah, the case fan on the Centauri is a little annoying. I don't like fans that are always on. The Toolhead's only at 215. It's not really hot. Like, that's actually below. I usually print PLA around 220, so 215 is not real hot. But we looked, if you look back on the stream later, the melt zone on this hot end is massive. We measured it at, I think, 35 millimeters long. It's a really long melt zone. And we're done. So yeah, I mean, they didn't lie. Total time says 10:56, but the actual print time was 8 minutes and 22 seconds. So it's, you know, it did what it said as far as the name went on it, the name of the file. All right, let's pop it. All right. I don't think I have autofocus on. So this area looks the roughest by far. If I shine it on the light, this area looks the roughest. I mean, excuse me, the walls are nothing beautiful, but again, like it was a really fast Benchy. Oh, you can see that. That looks like it's probably a PA thing. I would assume. They probably don't have the PA set for how aggressive it printed, so that's definitely a imperfection right there. But I gotta say, man, like there's no stringing. I mean, it doesn't look like it's got great layer adhesion. If you look at it from the top, like I would assume that probably cranking up the temp would help if you were concerned, but you wouldn't. Excuse me. If strength was your concern, you wouldn't be printing at these speeds. You'd be printing slower so you have better interlayer adhesion. But I mean, honestly, for an 8 minute and what did we say, 22 second Benchy, like it's hard to be mad about that. It's really not bad. I don't know what the max flow is. We haven't tested it. We can test it. It's a very big hot end. I am actually curious to see if I unplug this flash drive. I'm curious to see if there's any info about Slicer on here. Also, let me open up the giveaway. It's going to be a bit of a shorter stream today. So let me get the giveaway going. Copy, paste, bam. Okay, it should be pinned in chat. All right, so let me really quickly open up the flash drive. Orca Slicer. Oh, so it's using Orca Slicer. Okay. Is there info about... What is this saying? If you have Orca Slicer installed, please import the SQL6 config. If not installed, Yes, this is installation. Oh, so this has you use the Sovol Ace profile and then modify it? Interesting. Okay. So let's try this. What am I doing? Here we go. It always, I think it probably froze. Yeah, it froze on me. So I don't know why. Orca Slicer, it works great for me, but whenever I open up the printer submenu for selecting, I'm grabbing a stool for this just because I'll be sitting for a sec. When I open the printer submenu, it always freezes for like 20 seconds. Okay, longer than 20 seconds, apparently. Here we go. Is there not an ace on here? There is no ace on here. Is it because I'm not on the latest Orca? What's going on? Where was our instructions? Let me see if there's a newer version of Orca. I am running 2.2. I think there is a newer one. I don't know if that added Orca Slicer. Windows installer. That's interesting. I feel like Orca Slicer installed. You want to install the old version? That's fine. I feel like usually the Orca Slicer installs are signed. It looks like it's unsigned. Maybe it's because it's a release candidate. A lot of my testing of like betas or release candidates are on Mac, so it's a little different. The exhaust fan moves a lot of air on this. I can see why they want you to plug it for high temp materials. I mean, it's chucking a lot of air out of it. Nope, that's 2.0. That is not what we want. I thought I just asked it to overwrite. Let's try this one. Nope, that looks like it's also... So let's try the Orca Slicer in the folder. Nope, that's not what I wanted to do. Nice! Thank you for the 5 gifted memberships, man. Cheers, buddy. Any updates on your... Yeah. Okay, any updates on your box turtle? I think you said it was a ways out last week. We'll hang on launch streaming. I'll have to do a full restart. Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, it's not just a me thing then. Okay. It's not what I wanted to do. And that's either portable or installed in Windows. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I think on Mac for me as well, it does the same thing. 230 watching, only 84 likes. If you have not hit the like button, please do. It just takes a second. It definitely helps. It definitely helps out. Okay, so we got the Sovol Ace. That is what we want to see. So instructions were select Sovol Ace. Move the slide, okay. We'll just do 0.4 nozzle because I'm assuming that's what we're running. Okay. Filaments. Sovol, it wants us to take Sovol generic TPU, Sovol. Okay, so all the Ace profiles basically. This has to be able to perform higher than Ace does, though. I guess we're gonna import stuff in a second here, so let's see. Okay, so we've got Ace, ABS, PTG, and there was another one. What was the other one? The other one was... Where am I? Sovol generic... Oh, TPU. I probably already have that. Sovol... God, there's a lot of options. I don't see Sovol generic TPU. That's fine. I'm not going to worry about that right now. Okay. Click finish. If a version update, great. Enter the main page. Click prepare. Click file, import, and then import model file. Okay. Wait, that can't be right. That can't be right. What did I do? Okay. Click import 3MF, import the model file as shown in the picture. That's definitely what I did, but I probably wasn't supposed to import the... Does anyone know what the file type is? All this when they could have had a profile on the USB stick, another not quite... Yeah. Yeah, it's a little... I'm sure it'll be there at launch, but it definitely feels a little early. These are all STL files. Yeah, the instructions for this kind of blow. Import the model file. That's all it says, is import the model file. Let me just manually search this flash drive, see if there's anything else on it. So, anything would be under here. Okay, here's another one. Maybe those instructions were for something else. Okay, we're fine, did that. Okay, so this is probably what it wants us to do. So let's go here, let's go our C drive, let's go to there is no Orca here, probably because it's under users. Oops. Wouldn't this be under... I feel like this would be under program files. Yeah, here we are, resources. I don't know if this is the right profiles. Okay. I'm not entirely convinced. It didn't ask me to replace anything, which makes me wonder. Man, there's a lot of steps for this. Do they stream? Do they have MSRP? No, our speculation is $3.99 early bird, and then there's a placeholder for $4.99, but I'm hoping it's lower than that. This process just is more involved than I'd like right now. I want to make sure, for one, so this had what? This had... Okay, so this does have... So if this worked, there should be a Sovol Zero image file in our Sovol folder now. So let's make sure that's the case. It did not. Okay, so it did not overwrite anything. It made additional folders. So let me try this again. So Sovol. I think I'm just going to drag and drop. Replace. Okay, we'll do it this way. Continue. It didn't even give me an option to replace it when I did it a moment ago. Okay, now it's not responding. Oh, Hey, Dominic. All right, there we go. Okay, there's our little Sovol Zero. So that worked, and now let's go back here, and then I'm gonna copy the JSON one more time. Continue. Okay, so the thing I don't know though is I have two. Now I only have one Orca Slicer folder there. And I have another Orca Slicer folder here. So this one's 319, that would be from today. That one's not, okay, so this, God. Okay, so I think that the one we need to copy it into is actually the one with today's date. Where did I go? Here we go, this one. Where, God. Resources. All right, let's try this again. Actually, I don't think this is right. I think it was in the other folder. Because this doesn't have any... Oh, no, it does. It does. Okay. Here we go. This is our JSON files. Okay, so hopefully we're done with that step. Open the location, we did that. Great. Did that. Orca Slicer directory, open the profiles directory. Okay. We did that. Open Orca Slicer. All right, so let's close Orca Slicer again. That way we know it's got all of the things. The instructions on here are not great at all. I like it. This is, I've had this for a bit. And with this not being launched yet, I'm going to assume this is all going to be cleaned up, but for right now, this is definitely messy. Okay. Help, show configuration folder. Okay. To export the configuration file, click File, Export, Export Preset Bundle, select Printer Config Orca and the model to be exported to complete the configuration. What? But it didn't even tell me to select the model. Oh. File, Export, Preset Bundle. Okay. File, Export, Preset Bundle. And I think it said, okay. Wait, does it want me to remove? I'm very confused right now as to what it's having me do. Export preset bundle and the model to export to complete the configuration process. Okay, so it wants us to do a Sovol SVO 8. Which we don't even have, right? Yeah, these instructions suck. I don't understand why they couldn't have just added it. What the hell does it? I don't know. I'm so like, I feel like with what it just had me do, the zero should just be in here, right? If we added a JSON file, we modified the installation path. It's right here. I don't understand it. Yeah, no, it has it here. Their instructions are awful for this. Like, it has you do all sorts of things, but I did this with the Merc build, and if you copy the folders in and you add the JSON file, it's just gonna be in there. So I don't know why it had us do all that stuff. But here we go. We are here, and it already has 0.2 standards. It's got a single profile. It is not going to have, it is not going to have, let me see here. Oh, it does have, it even has profiles. PLA, TPU, yeah, it has everything. Yeah, the way they did that was really not good at all. But in their defense, I don't think it'll be like that on launch, and if it is, shame on them. That is, you know, that is really gonna confuse a lot of people. Great. Yeah, that was a lot more frustrating than it had to be. So let's see, just for fun, what these profiles are set to. So PLA, they have set to max of 21 cubic millimeters a second. I told you guys that on the speed bump Benchy, I saw it hitting 25, 26, which makes sense. I anticipate from what I saw that there was some under extrusion. And then let's see with the ABS, what they have it set to. .21 as well. That doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem like they have it. It wouldn't be the same. Okay, here's what I think we do. Let's just grab their PLA profile and let's run a quick test. So let's start this at, I don't know, 15. What do we think? 15 to 30? Or should we go higher than that? It's at 245. Okay, 245 on first layer. Yeah, for the speedboat Benchy, it was, I don't know what the first layer was because I wasn't looking, but it was 215 for the rest of it. Hey, Benny. What do we want to run, everyone? I've got 15 to 30 marked down. Should we go more than that or just try 15 to 30 with PLA and see where it's at? All right, we're doing it. Aaron answered. Aaron has spoken. Okay, and the other thing I'd like to do Oh wow. Yeah, 210, that's what you said. I'm fine with leaving that. I mean, ideally, I usually print a little bit hotter. I'm gonna bump it to 215 just because that's more, I usually do 220, but let's just do that. G-code path is beyond the plate boundaries. Can we, if we shrink this, it's going to screw things up. Can we angle it? Would that make any difference? Probably not. Yeah, 220 is what I do. No, that isn't math there. I feel like if I turn off a brim, can we do an internal brim? Nope. Disable the green perimeter line. Is that all that it was? Oh. Yeah, we could try that. Just the skirt. Yeah, that did it. Nice. You're a wizard. Okay, so we're doing 215. Customs has released my package. What are you waiting on? Thank you, Kyber. I didn't even see that it was a skirt that was causing the issue. I thought it was the brim. All right, we are heating up. Oh, dang. That's awesome. I thought you were taking it easy on 3D printing, man. I know you took a break, but it sounds like you came back in hard. That's crazy. You have to let us know next week how you like it. I know that was it I think PF got one a little while back and really liked it. Oh, I have to print a seal. That's right. I do have to print a seal. Okay, after this, I'll fire up a seal print. Can someone not? Okay, gotcha. It's a work-related stuff. Let me go on printables really quick. That's right. I do owe a seal. I do. Just find a cute seal model. That one's kind of cute. Seal emoji. I think I found our seal. This is our seal. Give it my seal. Oh my gosh, Eric. Yeah, this is gonna be our seal. It's cute. It's small. Oh, I forgot to move the purge line. Ah! I screwed it up. I screwed it up. I should have done that. All right, hold on. Hold on. Stop. Pause. I screwed it up. Can this Sovol Zero tilt? No, it's they are tied together with a belt. That's Siebert. The uncapped zerods make me nervous. Could be bad G-code or firmware. Pop the bed off. Could they pop it off? That's a great question. I don't see it. Maybe. I feel like the nozzle, it would hit the tool head, but I don't see any kind of I paused the print, so it should pause in a sec here. There's no caps on top of the rails either, as far as I can tell. Like, they could just slide right off. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. Okay, does it pause? No, it's still doing its thing. Dang it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure my entire Z is going to be off. Maybe not. If anything, the Z will be too high. So I'm just gonna let it do its thing, and if it is too high, then I'll stop it. But if it's not, we'll just let it do its thing. Oh, it's paused. Okay, let's see if it, I don't know. When I moved that, I feel like I screwed up a sensor somewhere. Yeah, I think I did. I think I did. We're gonna stop it. I didn't see that. There's load cells in the bed as well. There's a single load cell in the bed. So I wonder, you know what? Maybe they're not, that's interesting. Because there's a load cell where the nozzle probes, I think that they're not using the load cell for the Z touch, like Z contact. They're using just the, they're using the eddy current for the scanning, clearly, like meshing, but there is a load cell right underneath here where it's poking, so that must be where it's checking for the Z offset. Yeah, so when I went to remove that piece of filament and I pushed down, I engaged that load cell. That was my bad. Curious to see what that mesh looked like. It doesn't even have a... That's weird. It doesn't even have the mesh viewer on the side. I assume I'm assuming I can probably... UI settings, webcams. I don't know where it's at right now. That's fine. Okay. Yeah. Don't press down on the bed when you've got a load cell in the bed while it's doing things. Hey, Nuno! Is there a bed mesh section? There's... Oh, in the config. Bed mesh. Yeah. It says speed 300 by cubic. It's doing a 20 by 20. I mean, I guess that's if you do a full mesh. It's using variable meshing. So for this, it's probably probing pretty much the entire bed. But for... Why is my phone so hot? Oh, I still got the decibel reader on, so it's been... Sorry, phone. It's like, let me rest. Yeah, so for this mesh, it's probably nearly doing the entire bed, but for like the Benchy, it was just a small section of the bed. Back to work. Hey, thanks for stopping by, John. No need for camp when you can mesh the whole bed in 2 seconds. Yeah, that's true. It still probably is a more compact mesh, but I don't know if that's needed. A 20 by 20 on a bed this size at that speed, like it's probably overkill to do anything more than that. Not probably, it's definitely overkill. It's interesting it doesn't scan back again, like to verify the values, but the missing height map can be caused by a section not... Okay, gotcha. Yeah, there's no confirmed price yet. We have speculation. If you search Sovol Zero on Google, there's a $4.99 placeholder, and someone said that early bird's going to be $3.99, but I haven't heard anything definitive from Sovol directly, so take all that with a grain of price. I don't know. This will really let me see whether the plate was dirty from factory. The nozzle looks... It doesn't look right, the mesh on that side. Either that or it's the bed being dirty. But it doesn't look like it's sticking in this corner right here. I don't think this is going to hold down. Yeah, left to right is definitely not correct. I think I should probably just stop it before we get too far into it, and then clean the bed and then restart it. The bed I got my Sovol Zero was almost covered in oil. Yeah, let me go clean it. I have to run downstairs to do it, but if you haven't entered the giveaway, do so now. We're gonna be closing it pretty much as soon as I get back upstairs here. But the game plan is I am going to stop this. I'm going to clean the bed. We'll do the drawing. And then we will run this print. And we'll see where we're at after that. Okay, I'll be right back. The whole mesh is off. So I wonder if it's still potentially from when I had triggered the load cell. So I think what I'm gonna do is just reboot. Yeah, I'm gonna reboot, and then when I come back, we'll let it run through its thing again. Don't touch the bed, folks, when it's doing its thing. All right, we're back. So I'm gonna hit go. It's got a nice little, like the alignment tab in the back of this. There's nice alignment tabs in the back of this if you couldn't hear me. Some companies have done pretty poor job with aligning the flex plate, but it's really nice in this. So I'm just gonna hit print. So that way we start it up again. Cool. All right, so if you have not entered the giveaway, we're gonna be doing the drawing in a couple minutes here. So in 60 seconds, I'm gonna pull the form that's been pinned in chat, and then another 60 seconds after that, I'm gonna just close it out completely. This is a much higher performance, higher spec enclosed printer. You can print almost any material, not in the same league as the Bamboo Lab A1 Mini. Is there a discussion about what can do? Yeah, A1 Mini gets best tolerance test results are suspected. It's because of dynamic control of using the strain gauge in the nozzle. Another printer does this. You can tune it out with the traction settings and a million different things, but if you got closed loop feedback, you don't need all the tuning and calibrating just on the fly. Hey, Jason. Yeah, this printer will be able to print a lot more advanced materials than A1 Mini and A1 for sure. But I really feel like it's a different target user. Well, the A1 Mini and A1 is really like just a plug and play print. Well, this does have a lot of things in it that make it, but still, like with it running Clipper and all that, like it still feels like more intended for someone that's like in the 3D printing space more than just wanting to use the 3D printer. But I do feel like it has some serious potential of being a little workhorse based off of the initial things I'm seeing here. But, you know, how reliable will it be? How accessible will parts be? Like, these are all things that are TBD. You check how hot the chamber gets with ABS. I don't know that I can do it in today's stream. I owe a seal print. This is an 18-minute flow test print, max flow test. So we'll probably stop it when we start to see under extrusion, if we see under extrusion. And then I've got to get the seal printing, and that's probably going to be it for today's stream. But what I can do, I don't know if you're in the ModBot Discord, but what I can do is after the stream ends, I can just leave this printer here and preheat the bed to 100 or 110 and basically just set a timer for, I don't know, 15 minutes or 30 minutes or whatever you think is appropriate and let you know what the chamber reads. I don't mind doing that. Hey, is it Josu? Hey, Josu. It's a filter. I don't know if it's HEPA or just carbon. It's pretty large though. It's a pretty big filter. It is printed. It's weird. I find that odd that like there's no printed parts on this whole thing, but the filter is printed and this little attachment for it, or like a little thing to close it, so that way when you're printing ABS, you're not having a bunch of heat escape, is also just printed. I don't know if that's going to be a launch thing or if that's because I got this unit, you know, for testing and it's early. I just really quickly want to see that it's sticking better. It still looks like the nozzle could be a hair closer, maybe. Maybe I'm being a little... It's better than it was before, that's for sure. I think it has a good chance of staying for this test. So, okay. I'm removing the link in chat, and then anyone that's actively filling it out, you got 60 seconds. 60 seconds. Does it have baby stepping? Yes. Yes, it does. I mean, I'm looking... From here, it does. Wait, where am I? Here I am. Here it does. As far as from the actual unit itself, that is a good question. I want to say, yeah, the SV08 did. Yeah. So you can set the Z offset. So you'd basically go into here, and then if you turn the knob left or right, you can raise or lower it. So it does have baby stepping, which is good. Is there a benefit of this over V0 kit other than not having to build it? I think the main benefit is not having to build it. It's really the main benefit. I mean, it is... I don't know how much you saw GPs, but like... so it is 1515 extrusions, but like, they did not cheap out on components on this. Like, front door and top's glass. The entire frame is stamped sheet metal. So it's really beefy and rigid. It weighs a ton. Like, it weighs a lot more than I was expecting for a unit its size. All the panels are insulated. It's got an auxiliary fan. I mean, like, you can do all these things to a V0, really, right? Or like some variant of a V0. But it also has an eddy current probe, which I'm sure you can also install a eddy current probe on a V0, like the Eddy or some other, you know, version. But when does the Voron Sub-Zero printer come out? What is that? And it has 51, yeah, so it has 5160 drivers. They have the amps set to 3.5 for the AB motors, which is insane. I'll have to see, like, how hot they get. They have really big heat sinks on them. And then, what was their thing? Yeah, the hot end is a massive, like, massive hot end. Are you able to print ABS and ASA with this printer? Yeah, you should absolutely be able to print ABS and ASA with this printer. Why does it almost look as big as a 2.4 in the background? It's probably just the perspective. It's not, I promise you. It's not, but it is quite large. Like, if I measure The width, we are looking at, it's right around, is that 300 millimeters wide versus my V0 is 24. I'm sorry, 240. And then height-wise, we're looking at approximately with the glass on top, 465 millimeters tall versus my V0 is 300 and maybe 80. So it's definitely bigger. Okay, so yeah, I was saying, isn't Sub-Zero one of the printer for ants like community mods? Because yeah, it's the camera. It's got a bit of a fisheye. Okay, we're doing the giveaway. We are doing the giveaway. Let me get this set up really quick. So we got 136 entries. Also, it looks like there's 240 people here. If you have not hit the like button, please do. Let's see if we can get to 150. That'd be awesome. Oh, my back. I said 130. How many did I say? 136. Yeah, we got everybody. Awesome. Yeah, so far so good. First layer looks pretty solid across the entire thing. Now that it's got, you know, multiple lines laying down next to each other, it actually looks pretty consistent. All right, let's do our giveaway. For anybody new, Polymaker is who is providing us with the giveaway. And no matter where you're at, the winner will end up getting a gift card that you can use towards anything on their website. Either if it's within the price range, which I think is 30 US, you can get any spool, but if there's another like specialty filament you want, then you can use it as a discount and then pay difference. Or I would imagine they stack. So if you want to hold on to it and you try to win again, then, you know, that's always an option as well. So thank you to Polymaker for letting us do these giveaways. And if anybody is looking to pick up some filament, there's a link in the description, and it does support the channel. So it's always appreciated, and definitely not required or expected, but it's appreciated. Lisa says 59 or 68. Is that for number of shuffles, Lisa? I know it was just your birthday, and Lisa is awesome. So if Lisa wants 59 or 68, we can go with one of those. They don't stack. Okay, cool. Thank you. Okay, all right. So it's going to be 59 or 68, and I'll let you guys type in chat whether you prefer 59 or 68. All right, 59's got one from RS. Oh, down under is excluded. 0 for 0. All right, we're doing 59. We're doing 59. Here we go. Wait, how do I shuffle? There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 6, 7, 8, 9, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 40. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 50. And we said 58, right? Wait, was it 59? 59. Okay, so 9 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, good luck, everybody. In 3, 2, 1, here we go. Peak 80, you are our winner. Congratulations. I think that's a first-time winner. Congratulations, Peak. I will send you an email. I wrapped up Saturday's video, so I just need to do a couple final little things, so I'll be working up here on some stuff. So yeah, I'll probably get you the email pretty early today, and the code that you'll need to fill out the form, and then Polymaker will get you your gift card. So congratulations to Keek. Thank you everybody for entering, and one more time, thank you to Polymaker for letting us do this, because it is really awesome. A lot of people have won rolls of material over the years, and it's just a really rad thing that they do. Filament is moving pretty quickly. I don't know. Can you guys see this? Like, it's starting to move pretty quickly. What are we at? Okay, we're at 20 cubic millimeters a second right now. Oh, that's not looking good. I guess we didn't stick. The back right corner is lifted off. So it's not an extrusion issue, it was an adhesion issue, so I might need to lower our Z just a little bit. The layers are still stacking fine. I might just end up running this myself later. I want to get that seal started. I did promise that the first thing we would print on stream the next time we printed something would be that seal. So I want to honor my word. So let's slice up the seal, and then I'll baby step it and run a test, and I'll post the results in Discord a little bit later on. Okay, so let's actually, let me go to me. I just want to make sure I don't accidentally show someone's email. Seal STL. All right, here's our seal. What are the speed settings in here? First layer, 55, then 105, 350, 400. Wow, they really have normal printing set to 40K Excel. I mean, that's going to be limited to the flow rate. Outer walls 10, inner walls 12. Okay. Let's get our seal on. I ordered... You ordered from Polymaker? Nice, or somewhere else? I like their PETG carbon fiber. Oh, never mind. Everyone filament. I feel like they've been around for a really long time. Or maybe I'm confusing them with another company, but I feel like I ordered their filament like 6 or 7 years ago. I've never heard about them. Yeah, maybe I'm mixing them up with another company. When I first started 3D printing, there was a lot of filament companies. Like, I mean, we're talking 2014, so 10 and a half or so years ago at this point. There was a lot of filament companies, and they would, I don't know how many of them were like actually manufacturing versus white labeling, but they would sort of like pop up. People would like them for a little while, and then they would just disappear. I don't know if it was like just not profitable or, you know, what exactly happened. So we're really lucky with filaments that they are within such tighter tolerances than they used to be, because I remember being able to order filament. Oh, I should probably cancel the print, huh? I remember being able to order filament on Amazon, and it would be, some of it was just way out of spec. So it's like you're trying to get a good value, but at, you know, at what cost? Did I screw it up again? Hopefully not. No, I don't think I did. You know, at what cost, basically? So yeah, we'll get the seal started and going for at least a bit here, and then I'll probably post a photo of that as well. But yeah, the two things I will do, I promise, I will change the Z offset ever so slightly so that way I can run the flow test for PLA. Then I'll post that result in the Discord. And then for whoever was curious earlier about the chamber temp, I will throw the cover on the, excuse me, on the exhaust port, and I will set the bed to, we'll do 110. Hey, Bearded Bucket, thank you very much for the 5 memberships. You changed your profile pic. Uh-oh. My Stream Deck froze. It's been doing that. It's probably going to reset in a second here. It was doing that when I was streaming with Steve the other day. I can't do sound effects. I can't do sound effects or... What the... Okay, let me unplug it and then plug it back in. Okay, I'll do 110. Or, yeah, I'll do 110, and then I will let it sit. So I don't think I'll start... Should I start the chamber temp timer the second I hit go to 110, or let it hit 110 and then start my timer? I'm not going to soak it for more than 30 minutes though, so I'll soak it at whatever value for 15 minutes and report the temp, and then I'll soak it for another 15 minutes and report the temp. I think that's what I'll do. I'll set it to 110. I won't start the timer until it actually hits 110 because it doesn't really feel fair. And then I will, can we do sound effects? There we go. There we go. Thank you, Bearded Bucket. Yeah, set it to 110. Once it hits 110, timer starts. I'll write down the chamber temp time at 15 minutes, and I'll write it down at 30 minutes, and that'll be my test. And I'll put that in the live stream channel along with the photo of what the flow test looks like and any notes I have about it. Yeah, no worries. I think that's something a lot of people will be interested in, because it's one thing to have an enclosed printer, but if it doesn't get warm inside, you know, you're gonna have to do some modification to it to actually be able to print with higher temp materials. Yeah, on the first line, it takes a while. I think that it's gonna need some tuning as far as both PA and maybe retraction. It's got such a long melt zone that it seems like what's happening is it'll purge and the purge line looks good, but then when it retracts and goes to print the first line after that retract, there's a slight gap. And I'm assuming it's because of probably that long melt zone. It's just taking a little bit longer time to push out that initial bit of filament. What do you think about converting a KP3S into a Delta printer? At my university, they're trying it from zero. So if somebody came up to me and said, I want to convert a KP3S to a Delta printer, my first question would be why? I am all for doing projects because they're cool and fun, and that's reason enough. So like, no judgment there, but my question would be like, why? And what are you actually going to be able to keep from the KP3S? Like, I assume you're going to be able to keep an X motor, a Y motor, a Z motor. I don't know. For a Delta, you're not going to be able to reuse the toolhead. You might be able to reuse, I mean, it's got a Bowden extruder, I think. Wait, no. KP3S has the direct drive. It depends on what you're going to be keeping, man. But like, I would strongly recommend, if it were me, my thought would be this. I would sit down and write down exactly what from it I'm keeping. That's the first thing. And if I'm not keeping the majority of it, I would opt to keep that printer operational and source the parts. Because they're not high quality motors. It's not a high quality hot ender extruder. Like, it's not bad. Like, it really, for the price point, it was, you know, it was decent. But you could source a lot of those things for pretty inexpensive. And I wonder, like, is there more value in having a second printer at the university versus, you know, using 30% of the parts from a printer? That would be my thing. Motor, the hot end, and linear axes are expected to be reused. So it's going to be a very small... It's going to be a very small Delta printer then. Because the linear rails are quite short on that thing. And I'm trying to think right now, are all the linear rails the same size on that printer? They might be. They might be. I haven't had one in front of me in a little while. Yeah, this is looking fine. I'm building a Mercury 1.1. Nice. That's on my list for later this year, is to tear down the Merc, order the new frame, go with the CNC motor mounts, and the new toolhead, so which I think is going to be a CNC toolhead, and I don't know if Goliath's the only option, or there's other options as well, but we might be going with Goliath on it. Yeah, I don't, yeah, that's a good point, Down Under. Because of the fact that the way a Delta printer works is you've got the arms up really high. Basically, when you home, you're not going to have, it's going to be a super tiny, I mean, you said it's for a university. So like if the goal is more, like if the goal is less the outcome and more the experience and learning the Delta kinematics, then sure. It's tough to answer that question, man. Or like not even a question, but like it's tough to give feedback on it because it heavily depends on what is the goal from this whole thing. If the goal is save money and make a Delta printer, I don't think it makes sense. If the goal is this is a big learning experience, then I can see it. Did you see my sim? Your sim? Oh, SLM? It looks like sim from here. I have not seen your SLM Hydra arms. Yeah, I like the Merc a lot. I'm just saddened that I didn't go with new extrusions and I stuck with the Ender ones because it's been tweaked. They're just not very great extrusions. I also could have done a better job of squaring them, that's for sure. Part of it's on me. But pretty much since around the time I built it is when Turtle, at least Turtle, was like teasing this beefier, you know, easy to enclose variant of it, like the frame. And so I've had my eyes on that for, I mean, it's probably been 2 years now, right? I've been in this house for a year and I don't think I built it right the second before I moved. So I'll have to post in your Discord. They look pretty cool. Yeah, tag me when you do, Turtle. It's a uni. It's a uni. They have bucket loads of cash. They should just part out a Voron Delta and learn a lot more. The ratio of Z-axis length to build volume is kind of bad. Yeah, no, it is. It's not very. It is not very efficient. It is the opposite. It is inefficient. It's very cool, and you know, I'm not. I love Delta printers. I mentioned it. Like they're so fun to work. It's crazy. Like. It's nutty, like they're just nutty machines. But yeah, there's certainly once like when I was first playing around with Delta printers, it was when it was basically i3s or some variant of a bed slinger and Deltas. There really wasn't CoreXYs, at least that I was seeing. The first CoreXY I actually remember seeing was either, is it the Hypercube? I think either the Hypercube or this guy. I was following this, I think he was an Australian guy a long time ago. Oh, so he is the creator of the Hypercube. Yeah, this is the guy I was following like shortly after I got into 3D printing. I started in 2014 and I discovered this guy's stuff, Tech2C. He did a lot of drones, like 3D printed drone things. I miss seeing this guy play with 3D printers. I don't know what ever came of him. But yeah, this was like his, I think this is this the mod I went with for my early, this might have been the mod I went with for my Fulgurtech i3. Or maybe it was the ANET that I converted to this. But yeah, I mean, I was watching, he used to make videos too, I think. He did, yeah, 71,000 subs. Yeah, I used to watch his videos back in the day, and he hasn't made a video in 4 years. I used to really enjoy watching his videos back in the day. Like he was really early to 3D printing and was doing cool stuff with it. So the Ender IG looks interesting, but probably not a path. Yeah, I would say that I don't think the, what was the printer he just said? It was the cantilever that's slipping my mind right now. I just said the name of. I can picture it. It's a black printer with orange letters on it. How's your cyborg underwire holding up? Is the Victortech Eddy working well? So I have not done a lot with the underwire. I was just talking to Steve about it the other day, and the issue early on was I was playing around with the Eddy when it had like just launched or was just launching, and they were still working out some of the stuff, especially when it came to thermal compensation. But Steve told me that, and we're going to do this not with Eddy, but with the Mellow surface scanner Eddy probe thing, that there's now contact for basically, I think, any eddy current sensor on Clipper. So I need to revisit it and and get it set up with contacts. That way I'm just using Eddy for scanning, but I'm using contacts so that way there's no issues with thermal drift. Has the Pico MMU been on your radar? Are you talking Pico? Oh, multi-material unit. When I think of Pico, I think of like the Big Tree Tech Pico. So probably not Pico MMU. I I haven't even seen it. Oh, is it an MMU up? Is this an upgrade for? Okay, so it's in the Stinger wiki. This thing looks nuts. Is this intended for the Stinger or no? It's just it. No, this is. I haven't heard of this before, man. It's definitely hasn't been on my radar. It looks really well documented. Like, it looks incredibly well documented. Why do I feel old watching Thingiverse? Yeah, I know. You kind of date yourself. Like, I'm going back to Thingiverse. I'm going to rebuild my Hypercube this year. It was my first custom build. Nice. Yeah, I remember someone, was it Alec at Matter Hackers that had a Hypercube? I don't know why I waited so long to build a CoreXY. I really don't. They were around, but I guess I was just so focused on just the i3 style. I understood it, and there was so much to do with it. It was easily accessible. And then Deltas. Those were like the two. Deltas, I would say probably 15% of my experience, maybe not even that. Probably 10% was with Deltas, 90% was with i3 or some variant of a bed slinger. And then CoreXY came after. Now it's like 80% CoreXY, 15% bed slinger, and 5% Delta. It's probably an accurate ratio. Is the Funzer Mercury kit any good for CNC towers? You'd have to ask Turtle Crawler. I don't have any experience with Funzer or that specifically. They released the enclosure kit for the Box Turtle, €250. Delivery in the summer total. Oh my gosh. Wait, just the enclosure is €240, not the enclosure and the build? What isn't it just basically 2020s and acrylic panels? I would source that locally if there's not some more to it I'm missing. There's a new Eddy firmware that does nozzle touch. You can try it. Sweet. Yeah, that's the game plan. That software Steve was talking about still isn't ready. It's killing people's build plates. Ooh. All right, well, we're going to give it a go. I think Steve's using it on at least one of their printers, so we're going to give it a go on the Tic Tac. Yeah, it's a really cool looking MMU setup. Did you see the post of the Bamboo A1 setting its nozzle to 325 and not triggering thermal runaway? I have not seen that post. I have not. I have parts on the way for the Pico MMU. I'll probably do a bid on my channel when they come in. Nice. Is it, just to confirm, because I didn't, I mean, there's a lot of text, so I didn't see a basic overview, but it says LH Stinger Pico MMU. I know what the LH Stinger is. Is that specifically intended to be used with the Stinger, or no? Is it just from the creator of the LH Stinger? I wish Sovol would pick a darker blue. You don't like the baby blue? Or the sky blue? Or I don't know. I don't know what kind of blue this is. Minty blue? Okay, Turtle Crawler says they don't support Funzer. So I've never worked with them. I've never had contact with them. I've heard very mixed things. I've heard them of taking projects and making their own thing and not crediting. So I'm not here to bash on them, but if the project creator or the creator of those is saying no, then there you go. Oh, okay, it does come with a Polymaker dryer. Gotcha. The close is extremely sexy. Oh, XY. I thought it was what is XY? Extra for I don't know what that is. I would imagine Pico's probably cheaper than Box Turtle because of the fact that it doesn't look like it has a I didn't see a buffer in that photo. This is a feeder. I mean, this is where the filament grips and rolls back to, but you'd still need a buffer. I'm sure they have a buffer solution intended, but this certainly doesn't look like... Okay, what is this? Spool holder. I don't know if the spool holder does something special where it acts as a buffer as well, but... Oh, okay. XY is expensive. Gotcha. I thought you mistyped sexy. The LDO kit is like 500 Canadian pesos. You can use it on any clipper printer. Gotcha. Cost wires, yeah, so it's a lot cheaper, $70. As far as I know, it's just use whatever buffer you want. Yeah. To me, the buffer part of any multi-material is the hardest portion of it. I mean, not to discredit the feeding portion, but like the buffing solution is challenging. So I really like, I mean, that to me is one of the biggest things with Bamboo's AMS or Box Turtle now using a system where the spools sit inside of the unit and it acts as a feeder. That to me is like one of the more difficult parts of the equation, both from a cleanliness standpoint, but also just reliability. All right, we're going to call it pretty soon. Originally, my thought was like, oh, I'll just do like a 2-hour stream, but it's like 2 hours and 40 minutes. It's been a fun stream, though. I mentioned earlier, but it was nice. I was like, okay, I've been doing a lot of technical stuff lately. I just got done doing the install for the PZ probe, which wasn't exactly technical, but it was still, you know, playing around with firmware and mounting things and doing some crimping. And so I was like, I kind of just want to have a chill day. So initial impressions on this, though, is largely positive. As long as they stick to what they're saying and they open source it, they clean up the they clean up the slicer side of things, which I anticipate this has to be baked into Orca. There's no way they won't have it baked into Orca. The thing I'm most curious about with this printer is how does it hold up over time. So I will do what I said. I'm going to chill for a little bit and probably eat something. But my plan will be to run the max flow test with, I'm just going to do PLA for now. From, I think we had, was it 15 to 30 or 15 to 35, whatever it was set to. I'll run that and I'll post the results. And then I will also heat up the bed to 110 Celsius and mark down what temperature the chamber hits at 15 minutes and what it hits at 30 minutes. And I'll put that in there. I posted the link on the Discord live stream. Wait, what? What link? Use the Pico with a Box Turtle for a buffer. Newest version of Filamentalist looks to be a neat solution. Pineapple goes on stream. The Big Tree Tech cutter looks like a nice addition for a custom toolhead. Wait, what Big Tree Tech cutter? Did I miss something new? Wait, no, it's a CNC. It's a CNC cutter, right? I think I did see it. I think I'm wrong. It's been a crazy couple days. I think I saw it. I think it's a CNC cutter. If I'm not mistaken. I'm also gonna post a photo of the seal for proof that we did indeed print out a full seal. So, all right, everybody. Unless there is, oh, that's right. Okay, it was for the VZ toolhead. I did see it. It looked nice. I think I'm gonna call it. It was a really nice stream today. It was just chill. I didn't have to think very much. We took a look under the hood. It's from the photo I initially saw and knowing very little about what usually printer companies send me like a PDF or something that has basically what the product page will be, but a little less polished. And so I know what I'm getting into. The only printers really retail ones that didn't happen to was Bamboo Lab A1 Mini. They told me nothing about it, just that it's going to be different. And we think you'll like it. And when I opened it up, I was like, what is this thing? And this one, I had no idea other than it's going to be V0-ish, but it's a lot more than just a V0. Like, yes, it clearly was inspired by a V0, but they changed up a lot of stuff. They really changed up a lot of stuff on it. So I like that it has the eddy current. I like that it has the inductive, not the inductive, the load cell. I like that a lot. I like the big fan on the back. I like that it has a carbon filter, because why not have a carbon filter? I like that it's a little bit bigger. Not that I have really complaints. Usually the V0 is plenty size-wise for small prints I'm trying to throw on it, but like, I'm not going to complain about 40 more millimeters. It seems like a sweet spot. 100 or 150, so 30 more millimeters, you know? Wish they'd change the name. Yeah. Yeah, Sovol Zero is not very original, I suppose. But to be fair, like, Sovol's naming convention of their machines isn't very original either, right? It's like Sovol 3, Sovol 4, like a lot of them are just adding numbers, even if the printers don't relate to the previous version. It's quite confusing. That's right, the H2D. Yeah. I'm interested. I hope I get to play around with one. I mentioned this, I think, on last week's stream or the stream before, but they did reach out to me and ask if I wanted to be one of the like initial launch units, but a combination of prior commitments as well as a pretty aggressive NDA. Nothing too out of the ordinary as far as what NDAs have become, but it was just the punishment for breaking it, which I would obviously never do intentionally, but it was just, it was more than I was comfortable with. I understand them wanting to protect. I think it's wild that somebody leaked it. I have a feeling it's not a creator. I have no idea, but like I have a feeling it's not a creator. I have a feeling it's like maybe a reseller or something like that. I don't know, but yeah, I basically said no. So I have no idea. I don't know anything about it because I didn't agree. They had said that I would get one, but it would be after launch. So I know as much as anybody else does about price, about capabilities. So I was pretty surprised to see what the leak looked like, but I'm optimistic with what they did with their first launch of the X1 Carbon. I'm optimistic. So we'll see. We will see. A lot of NDAs are unenforceable and contain laughable terms. Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things, man. Like, I feel like NDAs are typically more intended for businesses, where like a business has things in place like insurance for the business and coverage and stuff. But like as a single person that does YouTube, yeah, it's a business, but like it's always been more of a fun hobby thing for me. Like some of it, it's just some of it's intense, man, the NDA stuff. And I get it. Like after there were some leaks, I understand a company wanting to protect their stuff and can't say if I was a company, I wouldn't also have an NDA. But, the landscape of 3D printing as a whole in terms of like, and content creation in the 3D printing space has just changed a lot over the last 10 years, which maybe isn't a bad thing. I mean, things have to evolve, I suppose, right? So. The toolhead looks complicated though. Yeah, I saw in there because they've been releasing teases over the last like 48 hours or so. It does look like it has the A1 and A1 Mini style like fully swappable hot ends where the heater and the thermistor are built into the assembly, so you just swap out the hot end and like it's so simple, which I like because if there's a clog or something like that. But I'm curious to see how well it works. I really am. I mean, they had delays on it, and it's not like. And I don't know anything about it, but based off what I'm seeing, it's not what I would have guessed it was going to be. I was thinking either an IDEX or a tool changer, or at the very least, like a large CoreXY. I don't know what it is. It looks like it does 2 different heads, and maybe each one can have their own sort of AMS system. I don't know. I really don't know. And I know that there was like talk about like it has green doors and this assembly on top that makes it look like maybe there's laser etching involved. And as someone that's multi-use machines have been a thing for a long time. Like I know Snapmaker has been in the game for like God, their original one launched on Kickstarter. When was it, man? Snapmaker. It was such a long time ago now. It was 6 or 7 years, I want to say. 2017. Yeah. See if it... Oh, that didn't work. Is it no longer... Oh, there we go. There we go. Yeah, this was the original one that was backed in... Well, it says last updated in 2019, but if you go back to the previous page, the launch was 2017. Wow, it took them 2 years to... And my experience with multi-tool machines has always been meh. It's difficult from a software standpoint. A lot of times it requires a closed ecosystem, which is usually not very developed. And if it's not using a closed ecosystem, it's still kind of wonky to implement into existing ecosystems. And also you have things like fumes, and you have things like exhausting, and you have things like dust and just soot and debris that comes. So I'm curious, man. Like, I don't think they're going to release something that's bad, and I don't think they're going to release something that's half-baked. I'm just curious to see what it is, how well it works. Yeah, that's it. What is it, and how well does it work? That's really it. And what's price, you know? You see the presets and multi-split add-ons. Seems like it's the new thing with swappable heads. Yeah. I mean, excuse me. With the E3D tool changer, I remember when it came out, it was in like dev for a couple of years before they even launched it as a kit, like the core system inside of it. And they showed, I want to say CNC in one of them. And it's just, I mean, I have a CNC machine and laser in the garage, and I have 3D printers. And even with them being fully separated from each other, the CNC debris and stuff just it sticks on grease, like whether it's sawdust or plastic dust or whatever, like it gets everywhere. So I'm excited and I'm curious to see it. That's all. That's all. I don't know. I don't know what to expect. The leaks are just leaks. Who knows whether it's an early version? Who knows? I don't know, man. I don't know. But I'm excited. Maybe a resin printer with a UV lamp. Maybe it's got some kind of injection thing that uses a UV light source to cure it. I don't know. I really don't know. Zombie likes the Snapmaker, but it seems like it had a lot of poor choices he didn't pick up on. Well, to be fair though, like the one that Zombie is playing around with is their latest version. They've had Snapmaker 1, I think there was like a 1.5 or 1A, then there was 2. So that's at least the third or fourth, like, you know, massive variation over the last 7 years. So the one he has, I remember looking at it and thought, like, they did some good things with it for sure. I mean, no machine or printer is perfect, right? Like, and also some decisions are objective, right? Like they're like, I could see a thing and say that's a great choice. I really like that for ABC, and someone else might look at it and be like, that's dumb because of ABC. So whether something is a bad decision because it's actually a bad decision, or whether it's just someone's opinion, like, no machine's perfect. But I do think that the Snapmaker Artisan, which is the one that he has, if I'm not mistaken, they did a lot of good things, and they've clearly been taking from their previous shortcomings and been implementing it. But is it perfect? No. But also, you know, it's trying to accomplish a lot. It's trying to accomplish a lot, you know. So sometimes we don't know what we want until it's presented. This is true. This is very true, you know. Other times we think we want a thing, we get the thing and realize that it's actually not what I thought, even though we thought we knew exactly, you know. There's so many different things. Anyways, I'm gonna keep ranting until it's, you know, nighttime. I'm gonna get going, everyone. It's curious to see how 8 years ago my brand, many brands and fearful 3D printers appeared. Now very few of those brands continue to innovate, and I hope that this improves in the companies like Prusa. Yeah, me too. Innovation's good for everyone. I mean, competition is good for innovation, and it's good for the consumer, for prices and development. I don't know how great it is for companies, because I'm sure, you know, if a company could just have a monopoly and say you have to go through us and pay our tax and we don't have to do anything, then they would. Not all companies, right? Not all companies are just like that, but like it wouldn't be good. So I get if you're sending out units for beta testing, but they're sending them out to promote, which is different kind of thing. I get it for... Wait, which... What in general, Andrew? Are you just saying, like, as a whole? If you're sending out unit spray testing, but if you're sending them out to promote, which is a different story. Are you just saying in general, like, manufacturers are sending out machines that are not there? And look at our seal! He's so cute! How much longer do we have on the seal? I might just let the seal finish. Let me see. Yeah, looks like we got 2 minutes left. We're gonna let the seal finish. Let the seal do its thing. Hey, we hit 150 likes too. Thank you. That was like my earlier when we were doing the giveaway. I had said it'd be awesome if we could hit 150. So thank you to everyone that had a part in that. Again, this is Seabird from the cartoon when I was a kid. This is Seabird? Someone said it's the seal emoji. It looks like the seal emoji. I don't know, man. I'm not convinced it's Sealbert. Here's Sealbert. And then we got the seal emoji. And then we got... Oops. And then we got our... Wait, can you see... I don't know if you were able to see what I was just showing. Here's the seal emoji. Here's our boy Sealbert. And then there's this. It looks like the seal emoji to me, man. The arms are in the exact same placement. Hey, Man of the Croc, we are just about to end it. We are just about to end the stream, man. It's been going good, though. Like, no real, like, oh my gosh. Like, I mean, in a good way, I suppose. But, like, nothing real... Things went well. Things went well on today's stream. I would absolutely, even if you just want some background noise, I would throw on the stream later if you have any interest in finding out more about this printer. It's got some cool stuff to it. Thank you, Turtle. Yeah, I'm not convinced that it's Seabird, but it can be Seabird for you. I'm fine with that. It Seabird also looks adorable. I haven't heard or seen of the seal named Seabird. Every serious business is asking Bamboo who. It's like running an enterprise environment on Apple. Sure, go for it and settle on Microsoft. I'm an Apple user. I love Apple. I'm fine with the walled garden. I love it. But I also understand the appeal of Windows and why people like Windows. I like options, man. If everyone just had one choice, how boring. How boring. And if everyone felt the same way about everything, how boring. Look at our little seal, man. He did pretty good. Definitely looks a lot better than our Benchy, which it should since this is actually a profile. It looks like the skirt needs to have a wider gap. I don't know if there was a gap at all on the skirt. Let's here's our seal. The walls definitely look better. I mean, there's definitely some marks on the walls, but compared to our Benchy that was printing crazy quick, I still am curious about whether it's PA. Oops. There you go. Whether it's PA or something else. This might have been a good model to turn on the scarf seams because it is a fairly cylindrical object. I did not change the Z offset. It's interesting because like the Z offset, this is the Z offset that's coming up with on its own. It looks good. It looks really good for the most part. Like I don't think that needs to go closer. But I am probably going to go a hair closer for the sake of that max flow test because it is just maxing out the build volume, and I think that's why it's running into issues. And it has a somewhat narrow footprint, but for everything else, I think that the max the Z offset that it's coming up with on its own seems sufficient to me. So definitely some pattern. Yep. I have to check out it seemed like it did a really fast job of input shaping. And I'm actually not convinced that the built-in input shaping did input shaping in both X and Y. I don't see how it could have. Like I've never seen a printer do input shaping that quick. And I was also distracted and talking and doing things. So I wasn't looking at the toolhead. something tells me the input shaping might not have calibrated correctly. So I will very likely check that out as well. But yeah, I think that, I mean, it could be just VFAs, but I'm curious to see if input shaping can help it. Seal of disapproval. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out today. It was a nice break from all the builds we've been doing. As mentioned, next Wednesday, Steve will be back in town, so it'll be the Dan and Steve show. We will continue on TikTok, and then the following Saturday, I will be over on Steve. Nope, the following Sunday, I will be over on Steve's channel, and then I'm not sure if I'm doing another box turtle stream or if I'm just going to configure it on my own and then make a full video on the main channel, because I do have 2 big builds waiting for me downstairs that I really gotta get going on as well. So we will TBD on that. So, oh, I think I got a sneeze coming on. Nope. Okay, yeah, thank you everyone for hanging out. Congratulations to our winner. As well, thank you to all of our gifted memberships. There was a lot. Any donations, any returning members, and just everyone for hanging out and chatting and hopefully having a good time and learning a thing or two about this machine. So it's an interesting machine. I'm going to try, I have to test out other machines. It's always the struggle, is like, I want to test out this machine, but like I need to test out other one for the sake of video. But I will play around with this. I will do a max flow test. I will do a chamber temp check test. And on that, I am going to say goodbye. I need to go rest. Goodbye, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will catch you all next time.